independence, because it was the first time when the collective rule of Indian rulers against of policies, British policies, it visualized. The revolt of 1857. Unfortunately, it failed. It was not succeeded. It failed due to the limited number of people which were participated in that particular revolt. So the reasons, what were the causes responsible for the revolt of 1857, in which as the first, the political causes. Political causes. Political causes. Causes. Doctrine of lapse. Doctrine of lapse. Doctrine of lapse, which was introduced by the doctrine of lapse introduced by the Lord Dalhousie in 1856. Lord Dalhousie introduced the doctrine of lapse in 1856, in which as those number of Indian leaders which were not having as their own son, their adopted son not considered as their successors. Their adopted son not considered as their successors. So after the death of the ruler, their territories annexed under the British Empire as forcefully. Their adopted son not considered as their successor. So through which as a large number of states like as a Jhansi, Satara, Nagpur, Kanpur, these were annexed under the British Empire. First. Second, subsidiary alliance. Subsidiary alliance. Second policy as a subsidiary alliance. Subsidiary alliance. In subsidiary alliance, there was the treaty signed with the Indian leaders, with the political leader, with the rulers of territories by the Britishers. Britishers signed as a treaty with the Indian rulers, in which as such rulers, they accepted the superiority of Britishers. And followed the instructions given by the Britishers. They followed the instructions given by the Britishers. In this process, the first state which accepted the superiority of the Britishers as the Awadh. Awadh annexed under the British Empire. So when such kind of policies imposed on Indian states, Indian princely states, then the people which were inhabiting in such areas or their leaders, political leaders, they revolted against our Britishers. The annexation of Awadh in 1856 on a subsidiary alliance, and later in as the maladministration. Maladministration means as a mismanagement. Ruler is not capable for the administration. On such behalf, also the Britishers, they annexed some of the areas. Awadh earlier as accepted the subsidiary alliance, and later in stage it annexed under the British Empire through the maladministration. Third policy as a maladministration, mismanagement. Those areas which can't be as managed by the rulers, as per the British concern, they annexed them under the British Empire. They annexed them in British Empire. Britishers annexed such number of areas under the. So fourth political cause responsible for the revolt of 1857 as the end of a Mughal dynasty. In 1856, Britishers announced that Bahadur Shah Zafar II, it will be as the Bahadur Shah Zafar II as the last Mughal emperor. It will be the last Mughal emperor. It will last Mughal emperor. After their successors, they can't live in Delhi. So that's why the Bahadur Shah Zafar took part in a revolt of 1857. Bahadur Shah Zafar, it took part in a revolt of 1857. 1857, on a southern gate of a red fort. That part is known as a Khuni Darwaza. Khoni, Khuni Darwaza. Why? Because they are two of the sons, two successors of Bahadur Shah Zafar. These were assassinated by the Britishers, killed by Britishers. They killed the two of the son of Bahadur Shah Zafar on a southern gate of Red Fort. Southern gate of Red Fort, which is known as a Khuni Darwaza. Khuni Darwaza in history. That part of a Red Fort is known as a Khuni Darwaza in history. Clear? Fourth. Now the fifth political reason, as the feelings of the Muslims had also been greatly hurt as the names of Mughal kings were removed from the coins minted by the company. It passed an order. English East India Company passed an order in which the coins which were carved in a Mughal age, their period, it was ended. It means as a Britisher, it means as Mughals, their pictures, it will be not carved on coins. It was declared, it was announced by the Britishers. So this thing as considered as a wrong by the Muslims. It hurted the sentiments of Muslims. When one of the British orders issued by the Dalhousie stated that the descendants of the Bahadur Shah II would be evicted from the palace in the Red Fort of Delhi after the death of the Mughal emperor. According to this order, Bahadur Shah II would be the last Mughal emperor, and Lord Canning declared in 1856. In 1856, Lord Canning, C-A-N-I-N-G, Lord Canning announced that Bahadur Shah Zafar, it will be as the last Mughal emperor who will inhabit or live in Delhi. After their death, their successors, they would evicted from Delhi. They will move from Delhi towards other areas. Clear? So all these reasons, so those areas which were annexed under British Empire on behalf of such policies, doctrine of lapse, subsidiary alliance, maladministration. Fourth one, as the end of a Mughal dynasty. Fifth one, hurting the sentiments of Muslims. All these people were not satisfied and showed their anger in a form of a revolt of 1857. These all were as the political causes responsible for revolt of 1857. Revolt of 1857. Clear? Next are the economic causes. Economic causes responsible for revolt of 1857. Economic causes, in which first as a commercialization of agriculture. All these terms you read in your previous sections, previous chapters, as a subsidiary alliance, doctrine of lapse, maladministration, all these. Clear? Next, second, economic causes, in which first as the commercialization of agriculture. Britishers introduced the commercialization of agriculture, in which they introduced the cash crops. Britishers introduced the cash crops, not for the beneficial of Indians, it's for the beneficial of Britishers. Britishers introduced the cash crops for their own beneficial. How beneficial? It's for the Britishers because such cash crops high demanded in European countries. Britishers eager to earn more profits, for which they introduced the cash crops. And indirectly, the production of such cash crops, it also led to the deprived conditions of farmers. farmers, they became as the tenants. Those which earlier as a landlords or the farmers, due to the cash crops, production of a cash crops, they became as tenants because land loses their fertility with the production of cash crops. Second, land revenue systems. Land revenue systems. Land revenue systems. Through the land revenue systems, Britishers, they implemented a different types of a land revenue systems in a different parts of India to increase their income. To increase their income. Britishers, they imposed the different land revenue systems in a different states of India to increase their income. So all of these land revenue systems, these were not beneficial for the farmers and not for the rulers. These were directly beneficial for the Britishers. Directly beneficial for Britishers, in which they increase the amount of revenue, yearly. Annually, every year, they increase or collected the land revenue. They charge the high land revenue from the farmers. It's not beneficial for the farmer and nor for the landlords. It directly beneficial for the Britishers. It directly beneficial for the Britishers. So with the introduction of cash crops and land revenue systems, those farmers which face as a severe economic crisis, they took part in a revolt of 1857 because they were dissatisfied. They were not satisfied with the British policies. That's why they took part in a revolt of 1857. Clear? Third economic reason, deindustrialization. With growth of industries, with growth of a large-scale industries in England and in India, large-scale cotton textile industries in India, there were the large number of traditional craftsmen. They face unemployment because earlier such weavers which manufactured the clothes manually, which performed the work of the weaving of a cloth, due to the introduction of a large number of industries, they face shortage of raw materials because raw cotton consumed by the large scale industries and remaining exported towards the England to manufacture clothes. So local producers, weavers, they face the shortage of raw cotton. Then they stopped their production and worked as the laborers in industries. Such weavers which were earlier self-employed, now they worked as laborers in others' factories. In cotton textile industries, they worked as the laborers. That's why they were not satisfied. They were not satisfied. Clear? At this time, the time of 1850 to 57, there was a myth spread among the people. Myth spread among the people. What was the myth? That myth was that those who will not accept Christianity, Britishers, they will execute them by tying them with the railway lines. लोगों में ये अफवाह फैल गई थी, if any of an Indian, it will refuse to accept Christianity, they will tie with the railway lines. So railway lines introduced by the Britishers, it's as a good for the economy. The basic purpose behind the construction of railways, it was that the movement of goods from agriculture fields towards the industry, towards the port. इंडस्ट्री टू पोर्ट सामान को इजीली लाया जा सके, इसके लिए रेलवे से इंट्रोड्यूस की गई थी. बट मिथ स्प्रेड अमंग द इंडियंस दैट दोस हु विल नॉट एक्सेप्ट क्रिश्चियनिटी, they will kill through the railways. they will kill through the railways. They will kill through the railways. So it was also one of the reasons responsible for the distress among the Indians which were not satisfied and took part, not as a major reason. So historians, they also consider this also as one of the reason. That myth also the one of the reason responsible for the outbreak of revolt of 1857. Economic causes. Economic causes. Clear? So these were the economic causes. Next, third are the socio-religious causes. Socio-religious causes. Socio-religious causes. Socio-religious causes. Socio-religious. Britishers, they took the many social reforms in society. Social reforms to modify Indian society. At the time of a medieval age, ancient age, or in a modern age after 1750, a large number of social evils prevails in India, like sati system, child marriages, widow humiliation, insult of widows, clear? Child marriages, sati system, illiteracy among the women, dowry system, such kind of social customs prevails in society. With the enactment of a law, Britishers, they restricted such customs in society. So old Orthodox people, the Orthodox Indians, they started to oppose such acts of Britishers. For example, in 1829, Britishers enacted the ban on sati system. Ban on sati system. In 1917, they introduced the Shada Act, in which the minimum age for the girls and boys for marriage, it increased till 16 years, 16. Boys age as 16 years and girls 12 years. So at some of the extent, it also restricted the child marriages. In 1856, Britishers, they enacted a law of widow remarriages, for which the Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar, social activist, it worked. In 1856, Britishers, they enacted a law in favor of widow remarriages. Earlier, the widows, these were humiliated in society. Their head, these were shaved. The widows were not allowed to be the part of a mainstream, to be the part of a public ceremonies. They basically face as an isolation in society. Widows face as the isolation in society. Clear? So with the enactment of such law, Britishers modified Indian society. But Orthodox Indians, it considered as an attack over their religion, their society. Then they started to oppose Britishers. Such Orthodox Indians started to oppose Indians. Clear? Sorry, oppose Britishers. They started to oppose Britishers. Next, second, introduction of English. Britishers introduced the English in 1854 with the Wood's Dispatch, a commission called by the Britishers in 1854 to assess the situation of education in India, and finally they introduced the English in Indian subcontinent. The idea behind the introduction of English in Indian subcontinent, it was that to use of Indians in administration, use of Indians in army as well as in administration. So some of the Indians, they consider this as the introduction of English as the attack over their culture, through which the importance of Indian languages it will decrease. The significance of Indian languages it will reduce due to the introduction of English. It was also one of the reasons responsible for the dissatisfaction among the Indians. Next is the education policies. Next, third is the educational policies. Britishers introduced a new education policy in 1854. That policy, it continued even after the independence also. After the independence. This year, now the government of India has changing the education policy, which is known as NEP, National Education Policy 2021. But earlier, the education policy which introduced by Britishers in 1854, 1854, which introduced a system of elementary education, secondary education, and a senior secondary education. Elementary education, secondary education, and senior secondary. You are a part of a secondary education. 8th class comes under the secondary education till 10th level of education. Clear? Same pattern we followed even after the independence of our country also. After the independence of our country. Now, how it considered as an attack? Because such system, such new method or new policy of education, it affected the traditional schools of learning. At that time, during the modern age, during the medieval age, there were the two types of education institutes were there. Among Hindus, Pathshala. Gurukul system ended in ancient history. In ancient history, Gurukul system ended. In medieval history and modern history, Pathshalas were there. For the Hindus, Pathshalas, and madrasas, MADRASAS. Madrasas for the Muslims. So what were these? In such type of schools, basically as a religious knowledge, religious information impart among the children. In madrasas, Maulvi taught how to recite the Quran Sharif, the holy book of Muslims, how to recite it, how to read it. That's it. Not the other subjects. In Pathshalas, knowledge about the Vedas, Puranas, and epics, Mahabharata and Ramayana. Their information given in a Pathshalas, not as an inclusion of other subjects. Britishers introduced as the maths, sciences, social sciences in education system. So such Orthodox Indians, they consider as this new education policy as an attack over their society and culture. Then they took part against of the Britishers. Till there any doubts? Yes, Manasvi? Do anything. Or a direct military confrontations. In a political causes, military confrontations, direct military attacks or a military confrontations. As a sixth policy under the political causes, those number of Indian states which refuse to follow as a subsidiary alliance or not follow the doctrine of lapse. Under such circumstances, their areas were occupied by Britishers through the direct military attacks. In which the first state which annexed by the Britishers through the military confrontations. Direct military confrontations as a Mysore occupied by or annexed by the Britishers in British Empire. Mysore annexed under the British Empire. Mysore, which earlier ruled by the Hyder Ali, then later in stage as Tipu Sultan. Tipu Sultan, the areas Mysore Empire annexed in British Empire, through the four of the battles. Four battles, Anglo-Mysore wars. Clear? As we discussed in a second chapter. Now let's we continue.
मैं लिख लूंगा ना.
I'm again repeating, introduction of Christianity. It considered as a bad for the Indian society by the Orthodox Indians. With advent of a Britishers, new religion which introduced in Indian subcontinent, through the Christianity, Britishers offered land to those who accepted Christianity. Those who accepted the Christianity, Britishers, they offered jagirs, land to occupy them. Sathak, pay attention. Britishers, they offered a land to the such number of Indians which accepted the Christianity. So in Hindus and Islam, the Muslim people, Muslim community, it considered as the introduction of a Christianity will reduce the importance of Islam and Hinduism in India. Clear? These were as the socio-religious causes. Now the next are the military causes. Military causes, in which the first as Britishers discriminated with Indian soldiers. Britishers discriminated with Indian soldiers, in which they paid less as compared to British soldiers, in which Britishers paid lesser amount of salaries to Indian soldiers as compared to British soldiers. Second one, Indian soldiers sent towards abroad to represent Britishers in different battles, and in Indian society, the Orthodox Indian society, this considered as a bad for the people which are moving away from the oceans and the seas. सात समुंदर पार जाना, आपने बात सुनी होगी. So the Indian soldiers sent towards the abroad to represent the Britishers, it caused the distress among the Indian soldiers. Third, Indian soldiers. Now the third, the highest post offered to Indian soldiers as Subedar, S-U-B-E-D-A-R, Subedar, not above of it. Fourth one, Indian soldiers were paid much less than British soldiers. Indian soldiers were paid much less than British soldiers. Another cause, fifth one, another cause of discontent, it's the part of military. Another cause of discontent among the Indian sepoys was that their foreign services allowance Foreign Services Alliance, extra income, ALLOWANCE. Foreign Services Alliance or Bhatta, 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 BHATTA. Bhatta was discontinued by the Britishers. It was discontinued by Britishers. It was discontinued by Britishers means Britishers stopped to give extra income to those Indians which were agreed to represent themselves in a wars. Those Indians which fought battle from the side of Britishers in a foreign areas, their extra allowance discontinued by the Britishers. Their extra allowance, Foreign Services Allowance or a bhatta, discontinued by the Britishers. Clear? Discontinued by the Britishers. Last one more point. The Indian sepoys also suffered. Indian sepoys, they also suffered with racism, 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 in which they were forbidden. Indian sepoys were forbidden to wear caste marks such as tilak or beard, etc.